Hi class, Miss Martin here, and today we are going to continue the lesson we started yesterday looking at how chemical reactions make new substances by combining different substances together. Okay, so I want to start with the little video introduction first. So let me hit play, and then I will do the experiment, and you guys will be keeping track of which substances react together and make a new thing.
In today's activity, you're going to take different chemicals, mix them together, and watch for a reaction that makes something new. The something new that you're going to make is this stuff, goo. I'm sure at some point in your life you've played with goo before. Maybe you've made something out of this. Play-Doh. Just about every kid has. Play-Doh is a type of goo. Or maybe you've stretched and bounced this stuff. It's called silly putty. Or maybe you've played with an ooey, gooey substance called gack, a goo that makes, let's say, an unmentionable noise. All of these are various kinds of goo. They all have different properties. Some of them ooze and drip, some of them bounce and stretch, some are slimy, some are dry. But with all of them, in order to make these goos, people had to do a chemical reaction, reacting two or more chemicals together to get a new material that has different properties than the chemicals you started with. Take silly putty, for example. Silly putty was made in the 1940s when scientists tried to create a new type of rubber. They mixed a certain kind of acid with a slippery sort of oil. The acid and oil reacted chemically, forming not rubber, but silly putty, a new, stretchy, bouncy goo that kids back in the day loved to play with. But all of the great goo inventors, they aren't a thing of the past. People are still discovering chemicals that make gooey materials. And you could be one of those people. Today, you'll experiment by mixing chemicals together to find a chemical reaction that makes goo. You'll have 5 different chemicals you'll try mixing in different ways to see what happens. Then, if you have time, you can try one of our favorite goo recipes and make a batch of goo that you can keep. I'll walk you through the steps one by one. Ready? Let's get gooing. Let's get going. If you're in a class, find...
All right, so since we are doing this live from home, I'm going to do the experiment for you guys, and you guys are going to keep watch of which ones actually react. The 5 substances we have are milk, glue, vinegar, baking soda, and borax. And for my friends that have made slime at home, I think you know where this is about to go. So our first mixture is going to be milk with baking soda. So I'll start with the milk. Just like last week, we're going to put a little drop there. And throw away my straw each time. And then baking soda. Let's see what happens. All right, I'm not really seeing much of a reaction. I keep on putting some more baking soda in there. It's not really doing anything. Just kind of mixing in. Okay, so no reaction on that one. Next one is going to be milk and borax. If you have the supplies at home, you can always try some of these mixtures out. Just make sure you ask a parent first. There's our milk. And borax. Oh, that did not do what I needed it to do. We're just going to pour a little bit. Boop, boop. All right. Taking a look again. Not really seeing much happening here. Milk still looks like milk. Borax still looks like borax. So no chemical reaction. Next one, we're going to do glue and milk. Do a little drip of glue there. Whoops. This one might get a little messy. Okay. Nothing really happening here either. It looks like it's just kind of mixing in with the glue, watering it down a little bit. Next, we're going to try vinegar and milk. There's milk and vinegar. Don't mind my vinegar. This is apple cider vinegar. Works just the same. And actually, I'm seeing some small clumps form. Take a good close look at that. So you can see it's kind of starting to curdle a little bit. Okay, so the next set of reactions we're going to try with baking soda. So first, baking soda. Just gonna dab a little bit of that out. Okay. And borax. Okay, so those are 2 white powders. I'm gonna mix them together. All right, I'm not seeing any reaction. So no reactions there. Next one, glue, and baking soda. There's the baking soda. Give it a little stir. It's just kind of mixing together. It's getting a little pasty, but I think the glue is still retaining its glue-like properties, and the baking soda still mostly baking soda. I'm not seeing much fizzing, just getting a little tacky. Okay, next, everyone's favorite, baking soda and vinegar. So let's start with the baking soda first. And then let's add a couple drops of vinegar. Gonna get nice and close. Okay, you can definitely see that immediately reacted. We made a new liquid. If I let this settle down, it'll be a brand new liquid. And also, all these bubbles, that's a new type of gas that's being produced. So 2 chemicals are coming together to make a brand new thing. Okay, that's bubbling up very, very nicely. Next one is going to be borax with glue. I think a lot of you might know about this one. Pour the glue first. And borax. Oh, that's baking soda. I almost messed up. There we go. All right, let's take a toothpick here, stir that around. Oh yeah. You can already see, just like in the video, we're starting to get a gooey type of substance. We all love to make goo. It's actually sticking and hardened to the end of my toothpick. Actually, it's very, very hard. It's like, yeah. So definitely borax and glue. They make a very good combination. Next, we're gonna try borax and vinegar. This might be one you haven't tried before. Wipe that off a little bit so we have a clean workstation. There's the borax and vinegar. All right, let's look closely at it. I saw a little bit of a fizz, but if you look closely, you can still see those little pockets of the borax inside of the liquid vinegar. Both are still retaining their properties. Doesn't look like much of a reaction happened. Okay, next step, our very last one, glue and vinegar. I'm gonna have to really clean out this table when I'm done here. I made quite a mess. So there's the glue. And doesn't look like much is happening there either. So far in this experiment, the most reaction we saw was between a little bit of the vinegar and milk. That's this one up here. The baking soda and vinegar. You can see that's actually fizzed down nicely. And obviously, the borax and glue made quite the hard substance. Okay, if you have some of these ingredients at home, you can feel free to try them out. Make sure you ask your parents. All right, thanks for joining me, guys.